Now then, as you know, we were just telling you about the dire situation in Venezuela and aid aimed at the country being blockaded by the President Nicolas Maduro. Well, I'm joined now by Isaias Medina, who was a senior diplomat to the UN Security Council for Venezuela before he criticised President Nicolas Maduro in 2017. And very good to talk to you. And I know you've described the dire situation in that country, in Venezuela, as a humanitarian apocalypse. Tell us more about that and how much worse it must be getting with this blockade going on.
Thank you so much, Dermot, and Sky News is so important also for our freedom partners in Europe to have a closer look of what's going on. First of all, I have to say that I am so glad that President Duque of Colombia was speaking to President Trump about exactly what we were talking about. An induced humanitarian crisis to remain in power has become a crime against humanity. I denounced this in 2017 to the International Criminal Court, was witness to the OAS, independent panel of experts, and 6 different nations that are state parties to the Convention of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court forwarded this report that has, as one of many crimes against humanity, this one specifically. And as you've noticed, it is incredible how they have weaponized starvation and medicine scarcity to control people through a political apartheid card. Now, people have been dying since 2016, and we've noticed how infants, for example, at least 11,400 infants were born already under malnutrition, died 2 weeks after their birth, and 65% of the mothers after them. If we looked at today, the richest country in Latin America has become a concentration camp where people die for lack of insulin. So diabetes and any other chronic disease is a death sentence. People are dying hundreds by the day. If you look at the numbers, and this is from 2017, the president of the Venezuelan Medical Federation estimated that 320,000 people would die in the hospitals for 97% of medicine and surgical material in hospitals. When you see Caritas report, and now we're talking 2017, that at least 280,000 children could die in 2018 for lack of food. This is a silent extermination of the civilian population, Darren.
I mean, just an awful situation you're describing there, but surely central to that thesis is that this has to be a deliberate act by the Maduro regime and not just economic mismanagement on a grand scale.
Well, allow me to build a little bit upon that, because also it is a self-inflicted economic meltdown because of their own grand corruption. There are cases, one that was a few months ago already through a confession of Chavez's treasurer, who confessed of taking at least one bribe of $1 billion through an exchange control fraud scheme that is estimated at least in $70 billion. This money was to be placed for imports of food and medicine. That is why in the supermarkets, the shelves are empty, and that's why there's no medicine. So they stole the money and they took advantage of the situation to monopolize the distribution of food and medicine through their socialist committees in order to socially control the population for their electoral benefit. So they brought him to the lowest performance in order to have control of the food system, and also, if I may add, control of force and violence. So through this chain of control, they also managed to expand the violence networks through militia. At least 60 non-state armed groups have been terrorizing the population, and they're in link with terrorist groups such as ELN, FARC, and Hezbollah, and have taken and appropriated at least 40% of the territory. They're pillaging our natural resources to sponsor terrorism. So all this is converging in one place. This is a very clear threat to the maintenance of peace and security in the region, and absolutely it's a clear and present risk to the national security of the United States.
Well, very good to talk to you, Mr. Medina. Thank you very much indeed, Isaias Medina.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Darren.